Hi, I'm Streaky, this is Shay, and this is Metropolis Mastering, and these
That side's wrong way
whatever,
round.
are the Amphion,
218s.
and below them are the...
BaseOne 25s.
Nice, and we're going to give you our thoughts on them today. So, the Amphion speakers, we've just spent the last 4 hours listening in various positions because we've got nothing better to do. We have, obviously, but it's because we're very busy. But it's, when you get a new set of speakers and you've got to listen to them all the time. So we've moved them around the room. We've had them near, we've had them far, we've had them in the middle, we've had them on the outside. We've tried everything, loads of different types of music. And basically, this is the conclusion. I mean, shall I show you? I'll show you the speakers first.
Go to speakers up. Right. Careful, they're a bit heavy, I think.
So this one. So the tops are the
218s is the tops.
So this is the 218. It's got you can see it online. It's got some radiator speakers at the back.
Look at that.
This is nice and white, like an NS10, and you can get the smaller version, which looks like that.
And this actually is not cone. This is like
Yeah, that's not.
yeah, this is
So the tweeters
solid.
in there.
Yeah.
These are. So basically, you can get the smaller ones or the bigger ones. We've got the bigger ones because we're kind of checking them out as you can have them like that as near fields. But
That's when we first had them, wasn't it? So we first listened to them and they were kind of there.
Yeah. So I've got these isoacoustic stands on them as well, and then you've got the stupidly big
Isoacoustics.
Well, they're not actually as big as you think, to be honest. But these,
Right there, you got
if I can lift it.
There we go.
That's the cone. Can you see those cones there?
Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah. So yeah, they act as the like
Okay.
the stands and also the sub.
Yeah. So there's a
part of the
sub, and
speaker.
there's I think one of these is a radiator in there as well because they're closed at the back. So they act as the stand. And so get more breath there.
Yeah.
So basically, we've had them in here, but what we found really was the when we had them close together as in the near field position, as you would do normally with those speakers, is the stereo image didn't sound as wide. So as soon as we put them back, the further we had them back and the wider we had them, obviously the stereo image opens up.
Yeah.
And they were able to hold the bass as well.
I mean, yeah, the stereo image was
Talks I'm out of
perfect.
breath.
Yeah. So yeah, the stereo image was really nice wide. Like when they were close together, it seemed like the mids were really, really nice and almost not too nice, but just very, very nice. And like from a mastering standpoint, you maybe would have been not forced to, but you maybe would have thought about taking out some mids because they were quite forward in your face. When they were wider, that mid that was a little bit too much sort of went, and they ended up being a bit sort of concave. That's the right word, isn't it? Concave is that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Convex is this way. Yeah. So the sound sort of went concave, but you are comparing them to.
I'm comparing them to the
PMCs.
PMCs, and the PMCs are obviously built for this room, and
Yeah.
we're used to those, and they sound very open and blah blah. So, but these speakers, they've got when they're out next to the PMCs, they've still got a nice tight end on them for certain types of music. I found for a lot of hip hop stuff, they sounded quite nice and low, like Drake things, and but they didn't really hold up as well against, say, Kings of Leon track, for instance, that we were playing. That didn't sound as tight in the mids.
Yeah.
Kind of lost a lot of the mid range on them
When they were that wide,
but we're
though.
comparing them to the PMCs, but that's what it was like. Now they sound great as speakers; they are lovely. They just don't sound as open as I'd like them when you're using them as main monitors. When you've got them a bit closer, then I find that I tend to want to, when I've been sort of tweaking, I'm moving to those and wanting to work on those more than the big ones because of their intimacy.
Yeah.
They're very engaging and they're very, you get a lot of detail out of them when they're close. Now, when they're wider, you don't try and, I was tending to then bounce to the PMCs when I was using them as mains because they were losing the mids and they were losing, the definition in the low end was okay, but just not the same in the kind of higher ranges of the low end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wasn't getting as much detail in as I wanted to. So, and when I'm on the big ones, I'm really loud, and I don't think they work as well loud. I don't know whether that's to do with just the size of them compared to the size of the PMCs and the room and how all that works. But I just found myself wanting to work on them when they were closer and not tending to go to them as much when they were wider.
Yeah. I mean, that's from mastering wise. I mean, mix wise, sort of more my area, really, like mix wise. I think they're perfect. Like as a close monitor, like where that one is now, sort of near field wise, mix. I think they're spot on. Really nice and clinical. Like they give you what you want to hear without flattering your sound. It's what you want to hear, but true. Yeah. It's rather than instead of buying a set of speakers that's really flattering and makes the bass sound really nice. The bass sounds what it's supposed to sound like on these. Yeah. Things sound really nice and good and direct, aren't they? It's very. Yeah. And like if the PMCs weren't in this room, it would be a completely different story. I think it wouldn't be because you know the PMCs, you're constantly trying to like compare them to PMCs. Whereas if the PMC was out of the equation, they're well, I mean, for me, I think, and that's why I think they work well from a mix point of view. Yeah. Because I think they're very similar to NS10s, but in NS10, like a really, really posh NS10, and so you can hear everything, and it's got low end, and it's what you wanted from an NS10, basically. Yeah. You got used to NS10s, you got used to the boxiness of them, so you kind of worked with them, and they were kind of true to what is out there in the real world. So I think from that point of view, they're perfect and they're spot on, and that's why I think loads of mix engineers really love them. Because I think that they are giving you that detail, they're giving you that intimacy, and they're, as a close range speaker that you can take anywhere, and they're going to sound the same everywhere you go. I think that if you're using them then as big speakers, I think they're great. If you're used to them, and then you haven't already got some massive mains, then you'll probably really enjoy having that extra low, that low octave, and be able to have wide, more bigger speakers, but. But from a mastering point of view, when I'm sitting with a set of PMCs that I'm used to and hearing them all the time, and they just they're not in comparison to those as main monitors, but maybe if I had them closer. But my only problem with having them closer is that they're, especially these ones, maybe the smaller ones might be better, but the bigger ones are just shadowing the PMCs too much. So I kind of want to move them out of the way because the sound field seems like it's like when someone stands in front of the speaker and it sucks some of the energy out of the room. So that's my feel. I mean, a good thing as well, like being able to turn the sub off. Like if you've got the sub part in there, being able to turn it off. So if they are your main monitors, you can still have them without the sub. Yeah. Like I mean, at low volume, they sound really nice. Yeah, low volume, they're perfect. Because I always have to go really loud with the main monitors, where even when they're out there, I could turn them down a bit and work on them. And when they're, as I say, I have them in near fields, I could work quite quietly, which is good because it means I'll probably get 10 more years of mastering rather than going deaf. And again, that's why it's great for mixing. Like mixing-wise, especially like a lot of people mix very, very quietly to make sure that everything is heard. Being able to actually hear everything at low volume and hear it to the point where it's clinical. Well, and hear the low end also it's hearing the low end at a low level. It was kind of, the sound of them is very. Across the whole spectrum is very much the same level when they're close. Mm-hmm. So for me, they're good as close speakers. They're not as powerful and not as useful to me as big monitors. Yeah. But I think that's really horses for courses and what you're used to and what you already have as main monitors. Yeah, but due to the fact that these PMCs are in it. Yeah. If they weren't in here and these were your mains and you had NS10s as near fields, they would be the most amazing speakers in the world. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. We've covered it, I reckon. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want us to review anything else, then put it in the comments. And apart from that, see you soon. Thanks for watching. Thank you.